Last week at Gateway Motorsports Pole, we saw quite literally the big one at the Arch, and it changed the entire point situation with only 3 races to go. Here today, we are here at Texas Motor Speedway, one of the fastest and one of the most multi-groove mile and a halves on the schedule. It is race 22 of the season, of season 3 of the Krispy Kreme National Series, and it is the Safety-Kleen 300 at the Lone Star State. What's up, everyone? It's the boy on Race 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to Texas Motor Speedway. And only 3 more race weekends remain here this season of the Krispy Kreme National Series, and what a return it has been. And we still have 8 drivers with a shot at this championship, 7 or 8 here, and quite possibly 9 or 10. So it is still wide open, and once again, for the second time this season, we got a drivers only broadcast, and it's gonna be a fun race for that one. And we got Joe back, we got Andrew back, and we got Stuart Brown up here in the booth as well. 3 JBL Cup Series drivers racing here tomorrow. But first, we got these National Series drivers on tap, and it's going to be interesting of how it all shakes out. First question for you, Joe. This is a very multi-groove racetrack, and the racing can be 2-3 wide all over the place, but the exit of turn 2 and turn 4 is narrow. So how do these drivers tackle this fast mile and a half on a little bit of an interesting exit of these corners?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for these drivers, especially those chasers with how close the points are. There's a balance to be had between the aggressiveness, especially at the start. You're starting 2 by 2, and just also being safe and trying to keep your car in one piece and make it all 50 laps here today. So honestly, it's going to be up to all the drivers playing nice with each other. It's not just going to be one driver out there that makes the difference. All these drivers together are going to have to work together and make sure that they don't get involved in anything. And hopefully they can keep it clean for these 50 laps, have a good race, and we can see some good battling throughout the field for these guys.
Absolutely, and hopefully we see that, and hopefully we have a good race here. It's going to be interesting. Not a lot of Tyler, but there's some, and it's going to be interesting what ends up happening. Of course, Andrew, we're one of the 4 drivers bound for the championship in the JBL Cup Series, but for these drivers, after the big one that was caused last week by a chase driver of Benny Watson, points have been twisted upside down, and there's 8 to 10 drivers that still have a shot at the title still. So for those drivers and for all these chase drivers, what do they need to do to somehow maybe leave here as the point leader with 2 races to go after today?
Well, to kind of second what Joe said, I think you need to just try to keep it clean for this first half with this double file start. That is going to promote a lot of aggressive moves, or the temptation at least to make those aggressive moves. Key one, just make it to green flag pit stops, hopefully, or at the very least, just hope that you find yourself away from any trouble. So ultimately, yeah, you got to relatively play it safe here. As you said, Nathan, it's a narrow corner exit for pretty much both 2 and 4. So that's going to be something to bear in mind if these guys are getting wadded up 2-3 wide, and that could definitely be a problem. So as long as these guys know to, as Joe said, practice patience, try to keep it out of trouble for the first half, and then maybe try to get going once the field gets spread out a little bit more, and you'll be able to race a little bit harder without risking anything bad happening to you and then just making your situation even worse.
And for some of those drivers and points, like Duncan Felicity Mendoza, Avery Alfred, Ramirez, they still have a chance at this title. But like you said, you don't want to make the situation worse, and that is what they are trying to do to still have a shot at this title. But on top of all the challenges of this racetrack, it's a very high-speed racetrack, very multi-groove, but it's also a very tricky pit road, and the strategy is going to be a very key part about 28 to 31 laps on fuel, so just past halfway. I'm going to ask you, Stuart, for Texas, it's not a lot of Tyler, is some, but the draft is so important here. What do you think the strategy call is going to be here today for these drivers? Do you think the undercut is going to be the way to go, or do you think the overcut will be the way to go?
Well, personally, I'm always a big fan of the undercut. There's always a level of risk if there is a yellow, particularly if these guys have troubles getting onto pit road and guys who are coming down the racetrack, guys trying to get back on. So there's always a risk involved in that. But I like the undercut, particularly if you're battling up towards the front of the field. But it's a wait and see. We'll see what happens. The overcut may work out if you come down later, particularly given there's not as much tyre wear as we'll see on other tracks. But I'm always a big fan of the undercut. I always prefer the undercut personally. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, with strategy, I mean, we could have yellows throughout the race. That could happen in the first half of the race before that kind of 28 laps into the run. So let's say, you have a yellow at lap 20. You're not going to be able to make it on fuel. So then the strategy gets really important. Will guys come down and take 2 tyres late in the race? Will guys come down and take fuel only? That kind of thing. So, look, there's a lot of ways it can go. I'm always a big fan of the undercut, but it'll be very interesting to see how the strategy plays out.
Without a shadow of a doubt, and that is going to be a very key factor among with everything. But here's the point standings. With just 3 races to go in the 2025 chase, Caleb now has a 1-point lead over Chris Jericho in second, Luke Williams in third, -7, Nick Lopez in fourth, -16, Jordan Stout in fifth, -19, Duncan Wood in sixth, -35, Leslie Mendoza in seventh, -39, Avery Alvarez in eighth, -43, William Ayers in ninth, -47, Ben Watson in 10th, -65, Juan Dwyer in 11th, -74, and running at the top 12 in points is Alexander Moe, -84. And I will just give a shout out to Juan Garcia, won last week at Gateway, and he's now the highest driver that did not make it into the chase by just 3 points over Aaron Abel. And with that being said, we are going to get this thing underway here for our second Drivers Only broadcast on the season. I really enjoy these, and I think you guys too. And we're going to go ahead and give it to Joe, Andrew, and Stuart for the call of the Safety-Kleen 300. And I hope you guys have a fun one here in the Lone Star State.
All right, guys. So the field's going to be rolling off here. We got a mixed up field. You have some non-chasers at the front. You have the top 2 in points separated by just 1 point starting mid-pack. Then you have guys like Williams, Lopez, Stout, and Duncan that are all starting up inside the top 10, top 15. So let's get picks, and let's start with Stuart. Who are you taking to win here today in the Safety-Kleen 300 at Texas?
Well, I could go the easy pick here with, I suppose either of the guys in the second row. I'm going to go to the third row, though, with the 11, Jordan Stout, who I think could very easily get his third win of the year. He's a very good driver, very quality driver. I think he could get it done today. Starts from 5th. It's a good place to be.
And Andrew, how about your pick?
It was right in the ballpark of where I was looking, but you know what? I'm just going to go another car behind. I'm going to go for the number 43 there. I like that starting position for Matthew Burnett, and we'll see if that can convert into a race win. But Burnett, obviously, also a very experienced driver in his own right. I think that he could make some noise.
And 1 row further back for my pick is Nick Lopez. I think he's getting redemption. He's going to get points back that he lost at Gateway and try and get back up towards the points lead that was taken away from him at Gateway. So here we go, guys. 50 laps in the Safety-Kleen 300. Hopefully it's safe and clean out there for these Krispy Kreme National Series drivers as they come down into the quad oval to take the green flag. Angel Gutierrez is on the gas, and we're underway in the Lone Star State with 3 races left in the season. think everyone was pretty much holding their breath there as they were fanning out through turns 3 and 4. Gutierrez in the bottom lane got a good jump, got away to lead the first lap. Jordan Stout crucially gets by Logan Williams, shuffling him up to the outside. Here comes the winner of the last race, Juan Garcia, looking to make it back-to-back as he's getting a nice push down low from Duncan Ward, who's also trying to get some points on the top 2 in the championship. Nick Lopez going 3 wide back there as they come off turn 4 together, and luckily Lopez able to get back down in line and just make it 2 wide for most of the field.
You want to get off to a good start here. You want to make the most of these early laps and make as much ground as possible, particularly if you guys like Rose and Jericho, who started on that outside towards mid-pack. You want to make as much ground as possible here in this early run, because it is difficult, not impossible, but it is difficult to work your way from kind of the middle of the pack to the front. So it was a good start for Gutierrez. He needed to clear out in front. He did, and then as you can see, Duncan Ward now going for second in the 5. You know, he comes into this race 6th in points, 35 back. He needs to make every post a winner, and here he goes for the lead underneath the Gutierrez as the 98 slid up the racetrack a little bit.
What a run for Duncan Ward through 1 and 2. Held it to the bottom lane as Gutierrez slid up about a lane wider. And also big move there to the inside for Jordan Stout, getting by Juan Garcia on the bottom of turns 3 and 4. So Duncan Ward clears to the front. Another chaser of Jordan Stout trying to come through as well. You have that 43 of Andrew's pick, Matthew Burnett, hanging tough up inside the top 5 there, and looking for some more. Going for 4th on Garcia, and maybe even 3rd as Jordan Stout kind of washes up off turn 2.
Seems like 1 and 2 are kind of where it's a little bit easy to wash up the track. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. I'm also watching, I believe that's the 19 of Ryan Durrani coming forward here a little bit on the inside lane. Eric Monaco in the 97 found his way to the inside lane after starting outside pole and trying to make up some ground once again there. Of course, pretty much with any race start, the inside is where you're going to want to be on probably 99% of racetracks. So the fact that he was able to get down there when he did is going to put him in a good position to try to battle with these guys for the race lead. But yeah, Duncan Ward looking awfully strong, and you swear no matter what series he's in, he's able to make some noise.
He's one tough customer when it comes to these rating series, and still up here leading this race. Jordan Stout through to 2nd place, got a nice push by. But as you mentioned, that number 19 is coming up. Ryan Durrani making some nice progress. Roberto Crown Jr., another driver, making some nice progress through the field up inside the top 10 on the inside and still moving forward. But Durrani just trying to get whatever he can out of this race today, going for 3rd to make it a Chasers 1, 2, 3 at the front of the field as Monaco trying to come back in that number 97. As mentioned, Crown Jr. nicely through the field, also moving away on the inside lane. Duncan Ward is experimenting with a 2nd lane up there, way up the track, basically the edge of the rubber up there, Stewart. And it looks like he did keep that gap, so maybe something to watch for is that as these tires, while they start, as Nathan mentioned, they don't wear all that much. As they start to wear out a little bit, maybe the groove will widen out a little bit more.
Yeah, potentially. I think it's a good opportunity to now to kind of explore the racetrack if you're Duncan, because he's clearly got a fast car and he's got fresh air. So it goes a long way, although you don't want to be going too far out of that groove. You see that lighter surface up top there. It's probably not an ideal place to be. You lose maybe a little bit of time. We've almost got 3 wide down the back here. The number 26 of Chris Martin's working his way forward, doing a nice job in this race as Durrani going for 2nd now underneath of Stout. The 19 coming into this race, you know, he's one of the lower pace drivers in the championship at the moment. He's 11th in points, hasn't gone to victory lane as of yet. Would love to do it here today.
I'm looking a little bit further back in the field. So they're going 3 wide here. Eric Monaco through the middle of Crown Jr. and Jordan Stout. That's a bold move. We'll get back on the further back in the field topic in a moment as they stay 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. I think Stout, if he's smart here, he'll just try and lift and get out of that. But Gutierrez through the middle again is going to make it another 3 wide. So Jordan Stout kind of getting bullied on the outside by all these non-chasers that are up here battling. And Stout, luckily, gets in line, maybe not, because Matthew Burnett kind of slid up, and now Stout's again up top, and I think Burnett should be able to get down and will. That is Chris Jericho. I was going to say that number 8 is starting to move forward. I couldn't tell if it was the 8, but there it is. Jericho is moving up, so he started on the outside, maybe dropped back in the initial start. Now he's up inside the top 15, it looks like, and making his move, while Caleb Rose in that 38 is, I think, just a little bit further back, if not way further back. Can't quite tell where the 38 is. But yeah, Caleb's just a few spots further back outside the top 20. So things could really change. Caleb Rose, the points leader, is mired back in traffic, while a lot of other chasers at the front of the championship are up inside the top 10, top 15.
I think the main saving grace for those guys that are up there in the points but are not running too well at the moment is the fact that this field is still pretty condensed after 12 laps. So there's still the opportunity for them to get to either the inside lane or just find the lane that's going to help propel them forward as we are going at it here for second place. But that's maybe their hope right now, or as Stuart was kind of alluding to earlier, maybe trying to opt for a different pit strategy, either the undercut or the overcut. The overcut could definitely be beneficial at a track like this where tire wear isn't super duper significant. You can maybe be a little more aggressive when you come onto pit road instead of pitting with a bunch of guys and you have to check up a little bit sooner than you normally might. So it can go both ways. We're probably going to we're about halfway to that point where these guys will be pitting. That'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah, you brought up some really good points there. You know, not only the fact that the pack is so tight that it is possible to make passes, but also just the pit strategy stuff with how little tire fall off there is, that there is the opportunity for Caleb Rose to do some different stuff. If you're mired back in the pack, say, hey, you know what? We can either undercut, get onto a clean pit road there, or overcut, get onto a clean pit road there. I agree with you that maybe you shouldn't do the status quo of just pitting with everyone else and hoping it works out, because you can kind of get logjam on pit road. That's how you lose a lot of time, not necessarily spots, but just time to the leaders because of a stack up on pit road. As you can see, Jericho still making moves up to 9th place there. So that number 8 looks pretty sporty as we're about 15 laps into the Safety-Kleen 300, and it's been clean so far. Chris Jericho moving up, Caleb Rose still at the back, but there's a ton of chasers up here, like Logan Williams, like Nick Lopez, but they're all led by Duncan Ward, who's gotten to the lead early and has not looked back in that number 5 as he continues to try and pull away from Eric Monaco and the rest of the field behind.
There's a big thing that Andrew mentioned with that the field is so close together still. Duncan's obviously taken the lead and has got a decent gap here, but he's taken control of the race, but he hasn't really pulled away that much. You know, Monaco's, whoever's been second, in this case Monaco, you know, he's 3/10 behind, even though he's running a little bit wide here. Even though Duncan's got control of the race, guys like Jericho and Williams, who dropped back on the start in the 44, you know, they've been able to work their way forward, and they're still, you know, they're right in the hunt here because nobody's really been able to break away from the chasing pack behind. But as I say that, you know, top 9 have now kind of broken away as Gutierrez to the inside of Ayres to get this final spot inside the top 10. So maybe we are seeing a little bit of a breakaway. That's bad news for Rose, who is still mired in the pack at the moment at 38 in comparison to these two guys here in the 8 and the 44, who are battling for position, and you know, they're the next in line to really pounce and take the championship lead if all goes well for them, I suppose.
Caleb is at threat of being passed by another chaser, Alexander Rowe, who is back down 12th in the points. Has not had a great chase, but still trying to make the most of it. And these two still battling mid-pack. Caleb has moved up some spots. He's just outside the top 20 at the moment. So the top 20 is in his sights, but and it's still pretty packed up. In fact, Jordan Stout's fallen back to him. Remember, Jordan Stout, it was about 5-10 laps ago, he got put up top 3 wide multiple times and continued to fall back. And I thought he had found a way down in line, but it looks like he's just not been able to get down. And he's just bleeding spots. He's back to about 20th now in that number 11 car. So obviously his car not that great on the long haul. He finally gets down in line. That number 11 has struggled and went from 2nd place he was for a good bit of the opening run, you know, top 5, to now outside the top 10 and just inside the top 20. So not the run that Jordan Stout was looking for. Driver's trying to move his way up in the points back towards that points lead. At the moment, he is gaining some points on Caleb Rose. The problem is he's losing a lot more to the guys around him in points. Caleb's being aggressive here in that 38. Forced it 3 wide and the two made contact. Wow.
Oof, sorry, I had to call that out because that could have been a big moment there. I also did want to mention someone that I also saw moving up a bit there, and that was Benny Watson. After what happened at Gateway, that's pretty impressive to see out of that 48. The number 8, though, boy, he's got the long run car right here. He is looking for a top 5 right here on the 26. Oh boy, this 8, if he can keep up this kind of speed, He could prove to be tough to beat in these final few races for this championship. And especially as we've been mentioning with where Caleb Rose is running, kind of starting to find some mojo, but still, I think a little further back than he would like to be. Yeah, 19th, so not terrible, but got a few chases around him. But yeah, when your closest competitor is running that far ahead of you, that's going to be your main concern. And I'm sure that Caleb is probably going, oh boy, we got to think of something here in the next 5 laps when pit stops are going to be taking place.
How that number 8's running. Chris Jericho will be my team owner. I hope my car runs like that tomorrow. I really like how that car looks. I haven't had many that drove like that this season, so hopefully tomorrow can drive like that one. He's visibly gaining on that pair in front. In fact, visibly gaining is Eric Monaco. This is the closest anyone's been to Duncan Ward since he got the lead. Monaco wants it started outside pole. It looks like he got close, had to lift a little bit running the bottom through 1 and 2. Behind them, Crown Jr. has fallen off Durrani, which is putting him into the clutches of his teammate Chris Jericho. Further back, Logan Williams is making a pass here, trying to get 6th spot away, and he's going to do it easily in the bottom of 3 and 4. So we're nearing the midway point of this race, guys. Pit stops are just around the corner. We're expecting them probably about 3 to 5 more laps. We'll start seeing pit stops start, and then we'll see how it plays out from there. What works, the undercut, the overcut, as you guys have mentioned. I like the undercut. The problem is caution could come out, derail that, especially with how tricky this pit road is to get onto. You're basically pitting around the corner, and you could easily miss it or overshoot it if you're not careful.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw before when you looked at Monaco and he was trying to go for the lead underneath of Duncan Ward into 1 and 2. He had to check up a little bit there and lost a lot of ground. You know, there's not as much grip on these tyres, obviously wearing out, and it's a bit harder to make those passes, but this 8 car has been able to make those passes. He's been excellent in this race. Williams is now right behind him in the 44, so they are very well positioned here. But you mentioned it before the race, you know, not before the race, but sorry, during the race, I should say, Joe. The importance of a clean pit road is vital. I think it's something that flies under the radar as we've got some pretty wide going back there. Not good for Avery Alford. Not a good position for him to be in. But, you know, clean pit road goes a long, long way. It's something that kind of flies under the radar, I think, in a lot of these races. You get a clean pit road without many other cars getting in your way, I think it goes a long, long way. And especially if you can get a nice clean pit stop with no mistakes. So guys like all the leaders here at the front, you know, you want to be able to get that clean pit road, clean stops, no mistakes, and go out and put yourself in position to win this race.
That mid-pack is absolutely insane, around like 15th place. They are still just all over each other. They were like 2 by 2, I think 3 or 4 rows deep, which is absolutely insane. So we're coming around to complete the 28th lap, so pit stops should be starting either this lap, next lap, or very, very soon. We'll see. Does Eric Monaco want to try and undercut? Logan Williams is trying to pass Chris Jericho back there. As cars are, I think Duncan Ward is going to say, no one's undercutting me. So there we go, the 5 from the lead. You don't normally see the leader be the first in, but Duncan Ward wanted that. He decided, hey, his team decided, hey, we're pitting now, and it's a lonely pit road, so he's getting the clean pit road because literally no one is on it with him.
That could pay dividends for him, honestly, with that undercut that we were talking about, as 4-4 is actually going to get by, possibly get by the 8 here, but that's big for Duncan Ward, because he could have also been a little more aggressive when he was entering, and now we're going to have more cars coming in this time, and like I said, this may impact how you come on a pit road and judge your braking point. I'm trying to see who else is in here. I see Watson is in, the 9. Caleb Rose not in yet, it looks like, or unless I missed him. So looks like Caleb Rose may be going for the overcut strategy, if he has indeed stayed out. And it looks like he has. Okay, so as has Jordan Stout. So as the next round's going to be coming in here, led by Ryan Durrani. So big time money here is Caleb. Going again. I'm impressed.
Wow. So there you go. That's that strategy of staying out. Wanted a lap lead. So there you go. 38 gets one there. And I think, yeah, the 2 stayed out with them, the 14 as well. So there were some guys, and now this is that weird scenario of people coming in and leaving pit stalls. There's Duncan trying to get up to speed. Some cars are coming off turn 2 now. He's going to easily blow by Crown Jr. on the inside, along with Eric Monaco. Good stop for Crown. He actually jumped Monaco, who came in second. Crown was about 4th or so. These guys now finishing up their pit stops. There goes Jericho, leave with Durrani. It looks like the 19 had a little bit of a better stop than the number 8. And this was a fairly clean pit cycle compared to the last drivers only broadcast. Nothing happened. Yeah, I guess it's not over, we should say, because Caleb Rose is still on pit road, but no one decided they need to hook him right into the field off of pit road this time.
Yeah, that's certainly wasn't ideal earlier in the year when that happened. Looks like everyone will get through here nice and cleanly, which is good. We'll see where Rose pops out. In relation to these guys, Duncan should be the leader. If well, you can see there's the 7, the 97. We know Duncan came out ahead of those guys, and there goes the 5 right now. So, look, Duncan is in a very good position now to go out and win this race. He hasn't really broken away from these two guys here, Crown and Monaco. But the undercut, I think, played out quite well for him. And as you mentioned, yeah, Crown got a better stop than the 97. I reckon Junior Motorsports had a couple of slow stops as a whole, because I think the Ace as well had a bit of a tardy stop. So, as you see, Monaco's now up to second. He's the one. Monaco, in the 97, he hasn't gone to victory lane yet, but his back end of the year has been excellent. He's had 6 top 5s for the year, which is right up there. I think he's the best of the non-chasers in that regard. So he's had a very strong run the last few races. Further down the field, there's Caleb Rose in the 38. So he's actually behind, in comparison, he's behind Mendoza, and Mendoza started at the rear of the field. So got a lot of work here, the 38, but the upside is that, he's got the freshest tyres in the field. So can he use those to his advantage and make some ground up?
Well, that actually worked for him as a benefit. As you mentioned, he has fresher tires, but I think he's also a few spots higher than where he entered. So I think that was just, yeah. So it kind of just worked out. It was like, hey, you have the fresher tires, you're about where you were. I call it a net win. I think that's just what that clean pit road did for him. He was able to stay out longer. He lost time because of that, but he had such a clean pit road that nothing impeded him as Jericho moves back around Logan Williams. Those two were battling before pit stops, remember? And they came up about right with each other. But oh my gosh, Duncan Ward's lead is just gone. It was over a second a lap ago, or 2 laps ago, and now it's back to about what it was the whole race, about 3.5 tenths, and I think even less than that now. So you have Ward leading, Eric Monaco's there, Crown Jr.'s there, and they've left 4th on back, and Monaco's a run through the quad oval. He's going to look to the inside of turns 1 and 2. The tires have more grip this time. He's trying to make the move, and it looks like he's going to stick it down to the bottom. So Duncan Ward's first battle for the lead. Monaco's to the inside off turn number 2. They're going to race side by side up the backstretch. Ward with the run off the top of 2, can't quite clear the 97. They'll battle still side by side to turns 3 and 4. Crown Jr. wondering where to go in this battle. He'll help the number 97 down low as they exit turn 4. It's going to be Eric Monaco in the lead for the first time today, but Crown Jr. is right there in his hip pocket, looking low into turns 1 and 2, but Monaco defends it, but he slides wide. Here comes Crown to the inside. This is some great battling on lap number 37 here at Texas, but Monaco able to hold Crown Jr. at bay for now, and Ward's still not giving in the number 5.
Here's the thing with Ward, and this is what you guys just alluded to with Caleb Rose. He's going to be on the freshest tires. Well, Duncan Ward's going to be on the oldest. And if it's just a lap or 2 difference, hey, that's going to pay dividends. And I think that may have played a part into what we just saw there with how quickly they caught him, and he's already slipping about a car length behind. So don't know if this is going to be a race-winning possibility for Duncan or not. As oh boy, these guys just all kind of freight trained Ryan Durrani there. How about the 16? Anthony Hernandez. So all of a sudden up here in the top 10, possible top 5 contention.
I think that's the first time his name was mentioned on this broadcast today, and it's right at the end of the race, and you know what? His home track. So he needs to do well here in this number 16, and he's performing, trying to get by Logan Williams for the top 5. This man, Benny Watson, maybe not on many people's Christmas card list, as he kind of caused the crash last time at that Gateway, but he's moved up nicely inside the top 10 as Eric Hernandez side by side with Logan Williams trying to push that 44 back. Jericho moved around to 4th place. He'll try to find a way to run down the front 3. The problem is 2.7 seconds in 11 laps. Now it's basically 2.8 seconds. I just don't know if that's going to be working out in his favor, especially with how close this pack is. I have a feeling that these guys might keep battling and just kind of keep slowing each other down. They need to hope that the front 3 really get to battle as Logan Williams with the crossover move, and Crown Jr. is back on Monaco, not letting let the 97 get away. Coming back around to 10 laps to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's a 3-car dance at the front of the field. Monaco, Crown Jr., and Ward lead the way in the Safety-Kleen 300.
Like Duncan Ward's car is just a little bit slow. I don't know if they made any changes on the pit stop. It's just not quite as quick as it was in that opening run, and of course he lost that lead. He lost a heap of ground to Monaco. Monaco really, and Crown, they really chewed into that lead very, very quickly. So it was very, very impressive. It's very, very impressive to see these two non-chasers leading the field here at Texas. And I mean, as I said before, Monaco has been promising in terms of he's been threatening to do this kind of thing for a while now. Oh, dearie me, that's Avery Alford. That's not good. If that stays green, so that's not good for him because he's 8th in points and or engine issue. So that's a bad break for the 2017, not one he needs. But and right as I said, Duncan's car doesn't look as good. Here he goes for 2nd.
That was an aggressive move. I think Crown was trying to cut down into turns 3 and 4, but Duncan just got inside the last second. And these two battles going to help Eric Monaco just kind of keep that gap and start to pull away just a little bit as Crown runs wide through turns 1 and 2. Ward's trying to keep the bottom well, and they're going to stay side by side. Crown's trying to get the run, and I think he might using the draft pull clear, and he does. So for Crown, he keeps 2nd. It did lose him some time, though, to Eric Monaco. So we'll see coming back around to 7 to go. Can he close back in on the 97, have enough time to make a move for the lead and the win of this race? And that pack back there, 4th on back, they're just not closing in at all. It's still 2.6 seconds. They closed in a 10th and a half that time. Problem is that's probably not enough. Caleb Rose is the top 10 is in his sights. He's on those fresher tires, and he's nearly moving 3 wide. Benny Watson is the top 10 spot right there in that 48 car, so Caleb's 12th right now. What a strategy call it was to stay out the longest of anyone, and that number 38, guys, might still come in with the top 10 here when this race ends. Come back to 6 to go. That's for 11th right there. Juan Garcia's the top 10 spot right in front of him.
This is going to be a dang close championship lead separation between himself and Jericho here if they continue to run as they are, and Caleb is making up the ground that he is. And yeah, I don't think he's done yet. He's probably going to get Durrani here, which Durrani, despite being 4th at one point in this run, it looks like he's going to struggle to hold on to the top 10 here. And yeah, now he's going to get to the inside of Garcia, so
lead change.
Yeah,
lead
a lot to play at here. Wow.
Crown Jr.'s passed with Duncan Ward. They got by Eric Monaco. We'll see that in the corner of the screen. But Crown Jr. now leads with 5 to go. They got the run back to Monaco, and they've gotten by. Now can Crown hold off who's been the dominator of the day, Duncan Ward? Can Eric Monaco find a way back up there? Come back to 4 laps to go as Crown Jr., Eric Monaco not in the chase, but they want to show these chasers that they still have the speed, and here comes Monaco for 2nd with 4 laps to go. Gonna kick Duncan Ward up to the outside there. That's not what that number 5 wanted to see, but how about the fact that the 2 of these 3 drivers going for their first wins of the season this late into the season, and here they are with the speed to do it. Just shows how close the field is. And while we cut back to this, Caleb Rose is inside the top 10 to 9th. So how about the top 3 in points all running near each other with Jericho in 4th, Williams in 5th, Rose in 9th. Those 3 are going to stay so close with 3 laps to go. Duncan's closing back in on Crown Jr. as they exit turn 2 up the backstretch. Jericho's done an amazing job catching up. He's nearly gained a 2nd on these guys in 4th place. He's going to run out of time, he and Logan Williams are, but they're going to make it interesting for sure. They're definitely worrying the top 3, but with just 2 laps to go, you're not going to be gaining 1.5 seconds. That'd be 7.5 tenths a lap. That'd be crazy, but 2 laps to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Crown Jr. leads. Ward trying to higher lane, trying to get a run, trying to have maybe Eric Monaco help him out, but I think Ward's going to be on his own amongst these non-chasers. Come back around to the white flag in the Safety-Kleen 300. Crown Jr. trying to fend off chaser Duncan Ward, who's dominated today. We'll see who gets back around in front. 1.5 miles to go. The Powerade 1 to go. Crown Jr. trying to hold off Duncan Ward for the victory here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Into turns 1 and 2. Crown climbs the banking a little bit. Ward half a lane lower, gets a run through turns 1 and 2. Up the backstretch for the final time. About a car length separates the 7 and the 5. Into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Can Ward try something on the bottom? Crown runs wider, but he gets the run through the middle of the corner. and off of 4 to the checker flag, a late race pass, and Roberto Crown Jr. wins for the first time in 2025. What a race it was between those top 3.
What a drive from Roberto.
It was safe and clean.
It sure was. Sure was. What a great drive. What a great win for Roberto. Great couple of weeks for them. I mean, go out and win this race and legitimately earn that win on pace, on merit. Beat the best of the best today. That's a fair win, and another win for Junior Motorsports. The Garcia won last week. Roberto Crown today. And yes, they did keep it safe and clean, which is good.
Yeah, we like to see that it was safe and clean, but yeah, Andrew, how about that? And how about the fact that those top 3 in points separated by 7 points entering? Well, Jericho, he's going to jump Caleb Rose for the points lead. Logan Williams is going to stay close. Caleb Rose is going to stay close. Those top 3 all got top 10 finishes here today, Andrew. So how about that for that championship fight now with just 2 races left?
Oh, it's on for those guys, and it all comes back with Caleb Rose making that strategy call to stay out as long as he did, and the tire difference was very noticeable. You saw how he was able to slice and dice a little bit better than a lot of the guys around him. It got him up into the 9th position, and while he's going to lose the point lead, the damage is very minimal, and the points loss is going to be minimal, and it is going to keep those guys so close together for these final couple of races. I feel like it's pretty much going to come down to those 3 at this point, just based on how consistently they're running and the speed that Jericho is showing. Had a great car here. He closed like a second and a half in that final run to do those top 3. So yeah, for those cars, those Junior Motorsport cars are looking really strong. But yeah, Caleb and Logan, that they're going to keep it very, very close. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to watch how this plays out for these drivers. There's a piston on the 27 of Avery Alfred there late. Tough break for that number 27 driver and for the whole team there. Jordan Stout had really fallen back. He came in to this race 5th in points. He finishes 21st. Definitely not the day he was wanting. And Nick Lopez dropped to 4th in points after last race, finishes 15th. So we'll lose some ground, and it'll make it a lot harder with 2 races to go to be in that championship fight. As next time out, it's Martinsville for some short track racing. So that'll be fun next Saturday. Nathan, you have anything to add? Did you enjoy your break over there watching this race, kind of just hanging out in the corner of the booth?
That was fantastic. Fantastic racing from these drivers here today, and there's a reason why I have Texas this late in the season, and that cooked. Great job from the Roberto Crown Jr., and I think it's kind of like what Stuart said, 2 wins in the last couple of weeks, and I believe that is Roberto's first win finally on NS Racing 97. He's been very close over the past 2 years, especially in the Reigns era, and he finally gets himself one. So great job from Roberto, and I don't know what else to say other than this championship battle, like you said, Andrew, is on, and I don't know who's going to win this title.
Yeah, I don't know either, Nathan. I can't see into the future. I don't know if Andrew and Stuart can. I can't. Maybe they can.
Occasionally.
They've been running better than me, so they might know a thing or two about championships.
Not lately.
Oh, look, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, it's probably going to come down to those 3, Jericho, Rose, and Williams. Even though Duncan Ward finished 2nd today, he's probably too far back. I mean, look, he's still mathematically alive, but probably too far back to really challenge those 3. And I think Martinsville is as pivotal of a race as we've seen all year in terms of the championship. You know, you've really got to make sure that the car's set up well, and you've obviously done enough from a short track perspective, both as obviously as a team, but also as a driver. So that's probably going to be the more pivotal race, because obviously, as we could see in this race, those 3 guys, Rose, Jericho, Williams, are extremely fast. So Atlanta, you'd expect them all to be there or thereabouts, but we'll see what happens at Martinsville. Jericho's obviously in the best position because he's the championship leader, but a lot can change. as Gateway showed last week.
Absolutely, and I'm glad, like you guys said, that this was a safe and clean race, and I'm glad that the last drives only broadcast didn't happen. That was something, but still a great win from Bull Country. Another chase driver, another non-chase driver gets the win, and that is gonna do it for these driver only broadcasts. 2 of them this year, and I really enjoyed these, and we'll probably bring it back next year, and we'll see how that all plays out. But huge thanks for Joe and Andrew for being part of both of them. And then, of course, Stuart for joining in for the second one here at Texas. And we gotta see what happens here tomorrow for the Rush Truck Center's 500. 3 races to go in the JBL Cup Series, and that one is just as close as this one. And there's still a possibility with Logan Williams at Atlanta in just a few weeks' time could win both the National and Cup Series in the same year with the championship wise. So we'll see if that happens. But next week is Martinsville, the second to last race of the season. And like Stuart said, that one is going to be very important on who will be in contention for the championship. Congratulations to both the country on the race win. And we will see you guys next week underneath the lights at Martinsville Speedway.